I'm your host, James Jordan, and joining me again this week from Hello. And she's here, she's back. It's Emmy, looking more frightening than ever. Hello, Emmy.
I don't love that. That's terrifying.
You know what? It's actually really hot. It's actually really hot under there.
That is scarier than any critique you can be giving.
So, welcome back to another week of Strictly the Truth. Normally dislike Halloween week because I feel the theme overtakes from the dance. But this year, I thought it was one of the best weeks they've had so far. There weren't any real standout performances for me, like I'm talking epic. There was a few really good performances, but I thought overall it was a really strong week. What did you think, Emmy?
Yeah, I thought it was really enjoyable. Like you say, like themed weeks can be a little hit and miss, but I thought everyone really stepped things up. The costumes and the music and everything was really on point. Scoring a couple of people, I was a little confused, but I think generally was pretty...
I think they've been watching our show. I think they've been getting grief from people. Yeah, and actually, as you said, hair, makeup, costume department,
amazing.
Absolutely amazing. And when you think about it, there's a lot of times I remember being on the show, you'd be dressed for your main show outfit, but then there'd be quick changes sometimes for the pro dancers and things like that. So they have to get you out of that costume, change your makeup, change your hair, back into another, and they have to do that 3 or 4 times throughout the show. So they are absolutely amazing. Yeah, so I'm in a happy mood. It's Halloween, and I've got no massive complaints. I thought everyone did well. So I know you wanted to start to talk about Amanda, didn't you?
Yeah, because obviously, really unfortunate. She's decided to step down from the competition.
I just hope that she's okay. I thought potential finalist for sure. She was so good. For me, each week when they came out, it's more about the partnership. It didn't feel real to me. And I said that from week 1, that I didn't get it. But I thought she definitely had the potential to go all the way. I just hope they're both okay. I'm sure she's going to be fine.
Couple that we should be talking about, though, is Zara and Graziano. I mean, we called it, James.
I did.
This week was their week, I think. I think the right people went. What do you reckon?
Totally think it was her time. I think she knew it was her time. She did herself proud. I think she's done some dances which I didn't expect to be as good as they were. So she can hold her head high.
I think you're so right. She was great. She did herself proud. It was her time. Thank you and goodbye, Zara and Graziano. So Angela and Carlos did the Paso. I love that. It's my favorite dance, I think. And I love the music. I love their costumes. I thought it was really good, and it really, really worked for Halloween week.
I agree.
And I think they finally got the scores they maybe deserved. They got good scores. We've been saying for weeks that they've been underscored maybe a little bit.
I think the scores reflected the performance. You know, I've said about them before that they've been in the danger zone, in my opinion, for the last couple of weeks, because they haven't really done that much where you can go, wow, that was amazing. This week, I thought the routine was exceptional. Easily her best dance to date.
Yeah.
Easily her best dance to date. She got 8, 8, 8, 9. I would have given her an 8. I really enjoyed the performance. I'm starting to enjoy them as a couple now, where I wasn't, but I'm starting to see the friendship between them and everything, and it's quite nice. They seem really sweet. This dance, I think, suited her because she does have this stiffness when she moves. And in the Paso Doble, you need that staccato stiffness held. You don't want to be too floppy in the Paso. So I think that's another reason why it helped her, because it suited her style of dancing, because she's actually quite a good dancer, but she doesn't have that softness in the spine. I thought it was great. What a great opening. So yeah, well done to them.
Next up, we've got Nikita and Leighton and their Tango, which I've got to say, I think was the dance of the night for me. I loved the song. I loved the dance. I mean, what did you make of it?
I loved it. I loved it from the beginning to the end. I liked it more than Ola did. And Ola said, he looks quite weak when he's leading, which I got. The judges picked up on it. I noticed when he was in frame, when he was being the follower, he didn't extend his spine enough away from Nikita. So it was too much like this. He could have got a little bit more away, which is difficult. But the choreography, the drama. I mean, the backflip at the end when he leaps back over on top of him. It was just a full-on performance, which for me personally, I was really entertained and I had to really look to be critical. But he is a professional dancer, so I expect more from him. This dance was fantastic, but I would have given it a 9.
I think they themselves are really striving for perfection and that extra little bit. And yeah, I think when they get there, I think it's going to be all the more.
Yeah.
You know, when they get their 40, I feel like there's no doubt in my mind that 40 is coming.
Yeah, I agree. I think they've had better dances, but I still loved it.
Next up, we've got Bobby and Diane doing the cha-cha. Okay, this I thought was really interesting score-wise because it was a real eclectic range of scores. 6, 9, 7 and 8. So some really different opinions there. Like, what did you think?
Well, I didn't necessarily give them a definite score because, again, I couldn't make my mind up. I put 7/8, meaning that was the range that it could be. There was no way it was a 6 from Craig. There's no way it was a 6. So he's saying he marked Zara and Graziano a 6 as well. So he's saying it was the same level as Zara and Graziano. Never in a million years. So again, it makes no sense to me. And then for Motzi to give it a 9. So you're saying that was as good as Leighton because she gave Leighton a 9. Also an impossibility. So this is where it kind of frustrates me a bit, where the judges just kind of flippantly give out scores, but it has to make sense to the viewer. I thought the dance was so much fun. What he lacked in technique, in a way it was a little bit awkward, but he sold it, didn't he? I mean, his facial expressions, I mean, he was proper going for it. He could get away with it because it was Halloween week. If it hadn't been Halloween week, the facial expressions would have maybe annoyed me a little bit. But I found it so entertaining from beginning to end. I think Diane did an amazing job with not only the choreography, but tried to teach him the basic fundamentals of hip rotation, which the judges also spoke about. Yeah, it was just really fun. I really enjoyed it, and I love them as a couple. And yeah, it was entertaining for me. They're growing on me even more.
I completely agree. It's just that they're a solid couple that aren't going anywhere, aren't they? I mean, I feel like I'm watching them go straight to the final at this point.
Definitely agree with that.
All right, on to Krishnan and Lauren, their Viennese waltz. What did you make of it? Not his best week, I don't think.
Not his best week. I agree. Can I say the beginning of their routine was so good? I thought that the choreography that she put together for him, for a non-dancer, what he was out there doing was quite high level. As Ola said, Ola sometimes is more critical than me. Yeah, but he didn't actually do that much. No, he didn't. But as a couple, you're watching the couple. It was so intricate, all the stuff that was going on at the beginning before they got into frame. I thought it was really clever. Then they got into frame and it kind of went... The brakes came on. He didn't drive enough. It didn't move enough. He didn't have enough shape or lilt, as we call it. I still love them. And I think they've got a difficult dance for them out the way, let's say. A dance which is difficult to have the wow factor. But I still think they did a great job. I would have given them a 6. The judges gave 6, 7, 6, 8. So kind of on the same wavelength. It was never an 8. But Anton often, I think he gets his paddles mixed up, doesn't he? I still think he has a chance, a small chance of getting to the final.
It's funny that you say that because he doesn't quite realise how popular he is with the viewers. Because in my mind, even though it wasn't his best week, it wasn't his best scores, he was still going through.
He deserves to be in the competition. I knew there was no way he was going.
On to Angela and Kai.
Angela and Kai. They did the Charleston. I gave them an 8. The judges, Craig, gave them a 9, and then the other 3 gave 8. So it's very unusual for Craig to give a higher score than the other judges. He was going on about her swivel action. People seem to be thinking that she's been overmarked because of her age.
Okay, this is interesting because as the regular Joe viewer over here, I thought that she was overmarked. But obviously I don't know the technical elements or how difficult it is or anything, but I noticed mistakes. I noticed that there was a couple of moments that she was like a beat behind Kai.
One where she went from facing forward and they turned to face back. Because I watched it back again because I was like, I want to try and see what the public are seeing now. So I was trying to look at it not with my profession, just as an entertainment. And I get it. I understand what people are saying. It doesn't have the same level of impact, does it?
Maybe that is it. Maybe it's like, I don't personally think it's about age. Oh, like obviously she is 79. I think the judges are treating her and giving her the same critiques that they would with anyone else. But maybe her dancers are more reflective of her as an older woman. Does that make sense? Like they're a bit more elegant, they're a bit more graceful, a little slower than everybody else's. People aren't quite thinking it's the same level.
It does make sense. And that's why I wanted to speak about it. She physically cannot have the same energy as someone that is a third or less of her age. You know, someone like Bobby, for example, he's gonna have his body will just move different. Like people saying, yeah, but her posture's not that great. Yeah, but you get to a certain age where you're physically not able to put your body in positions that you were when you were younger. I physically don't move the same as I did when I was 20. So when I dance now, there's certain things that I can't do that I used to be able to do. It frustrates me, but it's just a fact of life. I do see where people are coming from, that it doesn't have the same level of power and everything. And people said, oh, and then she sat down for a long time on the chair, just swiveling her feet. She did. I looked at that part. She did it really bloody well, to be fair. The way she did that was actually quite intricate what they did. Sit at home and try and copy just that section she did on the chair. See if you can do it, because I bet my bottom dollar you can't. So yes, I am being a little bit protective of her because she's 79 and she's doing bloody amazing and it's really good. I gave her an 8. I didn't give her a 10, but it's still really good.
Right. This was an interesting one. Nigel and Katya's cha-cha.
Yes.
So I personally thought the choreography on this was the best choreography of the night, but there were issues. I mean, this is me speculating because I don't know what's going on in someone's mind, but I think it's starting to get to Nigel. I think he looked really disappointed.
That's exactly what Honor said as well. The pressure is getting to him. And there is a lot of pressure, you know, doing a show like that. And his routines are full on. It's like Katya is not taking it easy on him. She's putting in a lot of content, a lot of intricate steps. It was by far the best routine of the night, choreographically. But Shirley was spot on with everything she said. He made too many mistakes. He was a little bit, for me, wooden at times, maybe where he's so nervous. He had some timing issues. His head was awkward in some places. Again, could get away with it because it was Halloween week. But again, they have so much potential. And they're this close to having 4 10s across the board. Everything was there. Everything was in place. It was just the mistakes. If he hadn't made the mistakes, it could have been one of those epic performances. He's got to accept his nerves. And I think he's letting it take over.
I do think it's like in rehearsals, he'll be perfect. And then on the dance floor, and it must be so much pressure. It must be, I can't even imagine. I don't know how they keep a dance step in their minds. I'd be so nervous.
Maybe the choreography is slightly too difficult for him. Maybe it just needs to be backed off just a little bit. But then you might not get that potential epic performance that Katya's looking for as a choreographer. He's clearly had dance training, so Katya's able to push him, but maybe it's a little bit too much for him. He's going to go out there 1 week, make mistakes, end up in the bottom 2, and then leave the competition when he shouldn't. And if it was just a little bit easier, he's going to be able to smash it, get high scores and be safe.
I know. He just needs to find a way to ditch the nerves, I think, which is easier said than done. And then to end the night, we had Ellie and Vito's Salsa, which was the top scorer, got 38 points. I thought it was amazing. What did you think?
Brilliant. And again, I can't stop watching him. He's so good. He's doing such a great job. I really like him.
And gorgeous, as well. But I mean, not so much as the Green Monster.
I just found the reason I gave a 9 and not a 10, for me, it was not a 10. It wasn't an epic performance. It was a great performance. And yes, arguably the best performance of the night. But it was slightly heavy for me in movement. Her leg action and her salsa action wasn't how I would want it to be. I would want it to be a bit more powerful, a bit more energetic. It wasn't their best dance. Everyone was saying it was their best dance so far. I disagree. I don't think it was their best dance by a long way. Yeah, easily. Yet they got 9, 10, 10, 9.
And 9 Anton, which is interesting, considering earlier we were saying he normally does the upvote.
See, maybe Motzi and Shirley were watching Vito. Woohoo! Where the guys, we may be more watching the girl. So, I think it was a strong 9, but not quite a 10, but still a great, great performance.
For me, I thought it was a 10. I thought it was amazing.
So I've put 3 in my danger zone, Adam and Luba, purely because they were in the bottom 2 last week, which I was shocked about, to be honest with you, because he was actually quite high up the leaderboard. So it just shows everyone that was below him, they're all getting more public vote than him, which is worrying.
I wanted to ask you about this, actually. So he was 5th on the leaderboard. Do you think it's true that there's this middle bit when it gets to this point in the competition where people think they're safe, so people don't vote for them? They vote for people who are lower down, who they're rooting for because they don't want to see them in the bottom 2. And so people who shouldn't be, who are middle, end up getting themselves in the dance off? Or do you think that's rumours and speculation?
I think it's rumours, speculation, and just a way to make people feel better that we're in the middle of the leaderboard that have ended up in the bottom 2. That's what I honestly think. People think that no one is voting for the people that are high up the leaderboard. Of course they are. They're voting for their favourites at the end of the day.
There weren't bad scores at all. 7, 9, 8, 8. But they were still in the bottom 2 and they're in your danger zone for next week. So
yeah,
why do you think that is?
Because they were in the bottom 2.
Oh, and that's
my only rhyme and reason, because I didn't see him ending up in the bottom 2. He is one of the weaker, naturally gifted dancers in the competition. I think he maybe was too high up the leaderboard for what he did as well. I think maybe slightly overmarked, maybe didn't help him. He is now one of the weaker people because he's not had dance training. I then also put in the mix Annabelle and Johannes because they keep coming out week after week. I mean, they did a really nice performance. They did the tango and it was an okay performance. Okay. It's a bit forgettable. And I really like them. They need to bring something really strong if they're going to stay out of the bottom 2. Because now we've got to the stage where there are no weak links left, really. The last couple that are in my danger zone are Angela and Carlos. Now, although they came out, Halloween week and produced something amazing and shocked me, and there was no way they were going to be in the bottom 2 because I would have picked up the phone and voted for them. So really entertaining. But that was one dance I've seen throughout the whole series that's really excited me. Are they going to come out next week and do that? I hope so. If they do, then great, but I just still worry for them as well. So they're in the mix as well.
Who was your favourite couple for Halloween week?
Can't call it.
Can't call it?
I know. First week.
That's strictly the truth.
I know. Strictly the truth is it could be one of 3. I loved Leighton. I loved Nigel, even with all the mistakes. I still really enjoyed it. And Ellie. It's between those 3. There were 3 great performances, but you'll notice there were no, for me, it's normally very clear. I go, they were clearly the best, no question. This week, I'm kind of on the fence because they were all really good, but there was no one outstanding. How do you think? Ellie?
Leighton and Nikita, I think, a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I think they were my favourites. I think it was, but like you say, in terms of talent, like Ellie and Vito and Leighton and Nikita, there's not much between them in performances. Like, they were both amazing. So I think maybe more in terms of entertainment, which dance entertained me more. And I think Leighton and Nikita, I was really wowed.
I can't sit here and say they were clearly the best because it literally is, you could, whatever you think, really. For me, there was no 10. There wasn't a 10 this week. That's all we have time for this week. Please leave your comments below, whether you agree with us or if you disagree with us. Let us know because we do read them and we will comment on them. So just leave something below.
In the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Strictly content, and head over to Hello Magazine for all of the latest updates. And we will see you next week for more Strictly the Truth. Bye.
Later.